and to represent our rights. We've got so many organizations involved, and with a little, talented twist of the tongue, we now have spread not only across the entire nation, but also across the border and even across the pond. Yeah! We've got chapters of MAD and chapters of Hugs Over Masks opening in Europe, opening in England, and all throughout the United States. We have talked with people like Evander Holyfield, who has started an organization in the U.S. Yeah! Yep, and it's called Unite for Our Rights, and they're looking to unite with us. Earlier this week, I watched a video on Facebook. This is how I ended up speaking with Evander. Of an 11-year-old boy who committed suicide by hanging himself in his bedroom while his father was on a 25-minute phone call. This shook me to the core of my being.
Hey, brother.
I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. This is not a joke. This is our children's future that we're here to protect.
Yeah, cool.
And we are all obligated to do that. Suicide rates have risen amongst adults, but nobody is paying attention to how much they've risen amongst teenagers and young children. A little girl as young as 8 years old took a hairdryer into a bathtub with herself.
How come Global News doesn't report that? Fake news! Fake news!
Every single one of you, whether you're a parent or not, that is here today is a hero. Yeah! Is a hero. And we will stop this. So all these organizations have come together to defend your rights, and today we are going to honor all of them from across the nation and the continent and the world with our March to Unmask. And that will come later. Right now, I would like to invite up to the microphone the leader of Hugs Over Masks, one of the founding members of this entire event, Vlad.
You know what I'm talking about, Pitbull?
You look good.
Hello, hello. Yeah, let's do this again. Happy Saturday, happy people. Freedom! It is freedom for sure. Let me take my shoes off because then we know you know business. Wow, what a day, what a day. What a week. What a last 3 months too, but let's focus on one step at a time. So first of all, again, I want to really acknowledge every single person coming here today. It's a privilege, and I'm so grateful to see so many people coming together here locally. And guess what? We have people all across this country uniting, which is phenomenal, and that's what we need. We need people uniting against the oppression, against the tyranny, against the fear propaganda. So let's give it up for that. Let's give it up for all the people coming together. And for me, I mean, I usually come here and I just talk about all the recent updates, and I'll see if I can mention some of them, but I wanted to cast a vision for you guys as well as give you a little bit of a personal development, and that's what I've been doing the last few Saturdays. So the theme for today's talk that I will be doing, and I didn't really script it, but I just thought about it a little bit to prepare. The theme for the talk today is life with no fear. Life with no fear. Give it up for that. And there's basically two things that we can always focus on in anything that's going on in our life. We can focus either on fear or we can focus on love.
Amen.
Fear or love? Choose one. Choose love every day, every moment of your life. So why do we need to understand what's going on right now? The government, the media, whoever's behind the agenda, they've been working overtime. They've been working overtime, creating a fear propaganda, brainwashing the people, and literally putting people in a hypnotic state. I need you to understand, people have been hypnotized by this fear propaganda. And it's unfortunate and it's crazy, and it's something that we have to be very mindful when we're talking to in our environment, in our circles, in our friends, in our family members, in our co-workers, etc. We need to understand that the critical thinking, unfortunately, almost doesn't exist in general public right now. And that's what the government did with fear propaganda, putting people under stress. People can't even think straight anymore. You know how I know that? I see masks right now in the streets in a heat wave. It makes no sense. If you have any critical thinking left, why would you want to put a mask on yourself? And that's fine. If you choose to do that for you, I respect your choice. When you put it on your child, we call it child abuse. And it's insane that in this day and age, we have child abuse sanctioned by the government. We cannot stand for that. Oh no, we're not going to stand for that. I think the only picture is missing over here is GT, dictator GT. But we have a couple of people locally being guilty, criminally guilty, for what's going on right now at least in Toronto and Ontario. I was given an interview earlier, and I want to thank the media for coming finally and giving us a little bit of a coverage. Give it up for the media. I'm sorry, but guys, where have you been like for the last few months?
Not reporting it right.
The only media source, alternative media source that's been gracious, gave us the coverage was Rebel News. Give it up for Rebel News. But the guys are here today, and I don't know whether they're here because the statues got vandalized, and that's unacceptable. You cannot do this to the statue. You have to understand, the agenda, the assault on humanity is so multidimensional. We have to be so aware. I'll give you an example. Why are they pushing so hard, dismantling all the statues around the world? Think about it. Why would they want to do something like that?
Rewrite the history.
Exactly. They want to erase history. They want to erase the past experiences. I was fortunate enough to be invited to Winnipeg Alternative Media yesterday, and I was giving an interview to Todd in Winnipeg. We're going to build Winnipeg big time, guys. If anyone has Winnipeg connections, we're building Winnipeg big time. But we started the interview with Todd was saying, you know, I talked about my background, and obviously most of you know, I was born in Soviet Union. I was born in 1980 in Soviet Union in Kazakhstan. I'm Russian by background. My language is native Russian, and I have, you know, Jewish and I have Russian blood and a lot of other things in my life. And the point is, I come from the background where I can see what's going on right now. So Todd was saying, like, all these protests usually have a bunch of different immigrants there. And I think it's just because people are intelligent from the other places in the world. And I had to correct him politely. I don't think it's a lack of intelligence. Why we have mostly immigrants here today. And I want to acknowledge every single person again, immigrant or not, it doesn't matter. But I just want to make a point, guys. Give it up for yourself, please. I told Todd, I don't think it's a lack of intelligence. People are intelligent all around the world. I think it's very important for us not to put labels on one group and make it to be the same for the whole group. It doesn't exist like that in the world. We are all unique individuals. We have 7 billion people plus in this world, and every single human being is unique in what they represent and what they stand. And I tell him, Todd, I don't think it's a lack of intelligence. What's missing for people is perspective. Perspective. And how do you get perspective? From experience.
Right.
That's what's missing for people. So people who are living here, who were born in Canada, they just don't have a perspective how it can be any other way. And that's why mostly immigrants are here, and we're doing our best to educate our fellow Canadians, because at the end of the day, we are all Canadian. So that's what I'm saying. We have to be very aware and alarmed and make sure we protect the history. Now, I definitely respect the perspective that some of the people that the statues are being made for, they did some bad things in their life. Nobody's perfect. Do you know what's a better alternative than trying to vandalize a statue? Put a plaque on it.
That's right.
Talk about everything that person did, good and bad. That's a better way to do it.
Education.
History belongs to humanity. So when they try to raise the history, please understand it's another assault on humanity. That's what I said. The assault on humanity is so multidimensional, it gives me goosebumps right now when I talk about it. I'll give another example to you. Everybody, even if you're not on a mobile devices and you're like tech savvy or whatever, you still know what I'm gonna say. Snapchat filters. Think about Snapchat filters, guys. They introduced them 2 years ago. Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Guess what they did with that? They indoctrinated the children to putting things on their faces.
Yep.
They normalized that behavior through technology. That's another example I want you to understand. I see the girl just like, whoa, yes, people just don't connect the dots and I get it. That's our responsibility to help wake people up, to give people education, to give people truth, and ultimately give people perspective. So then they can understand what's really going on in this world right now. They create this whole scamdemic. And I've been saying that for the last 3 months and I never wavered. And people were bashing me and whatever, who are you, what kind of expert are you? I'm a health and wellness coach for the last 20 years. I don't have any medical degree, but I studied biology, human connections, and then physiology, and then training, trained personal trainers and stuff like that. So I understand what's going on. I've been working with hundreds and hundreds of people. Now, why I bring that up? Because when those people try to bash me, I tell them, do you know our health minister of Canada? She's a graphic designer by education. I know, you don't know this, and that's why we need to go there and tell to people. You have a graphic designer creating health policies for this whole country of 37 million people. Isn't that crazy? It's mad. And nothing against graphic designers, we're all professionals, but I'm sorry. That's not where you're supposed to be. In general time, especially in time of so-called pandemic. And her deputy health minister, I know was put there on purpose because he has DR in front of his name. People won't check. They would see DR in front of the name, they assume it's a doctor. Of geology. Or something like that. Has nothing to do with human body. And those people were appointed in 2019, before all this madness started. They put in a position so they would not question what's going on. And I can go all day giving you all these examples, but I want to be respectful of the time and give time to other people. And going back to what I'm saying, this is what we're doing with Hugs of a Max Nation. We have two main initiatives that we're pushing over time. Personally myself, and I'm grateful for a bunch of people volunteering, Andres, Colin, Kelly, so many people, I can't name everyone, but I just want to acknowledge every single person part of the Hugs of a Max Nation working diligently over time. I'm personally putting 18 hours a day, connecting with people, building the connection, building the framework. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We're gonna create a platform that's gonna give the truth, gonna give education, and gonna give the ultimate perspective for people to question what's going on right now. Because that's what's missing. People don't even questioning. Please understand, most people outside in the streets right now wearing the masks because they don't know they don't have to. They believe in the media that there's only one way for you to exist right now is a mask on your face. And please even wear it in your house too. Did you hear those things? Ridiculous. Talking about critical thinking missing completely out of this picture. So that's what we're doing. One thing, we're creating a platform, and please be patient. We put some resources. I have a call scheduled to revamp the website on Monday. So I want you to understand, when you wake up in the morning, definitely do some research, but I want you to understand, when you go to our website and you click on news and you click on resources, you're going to be able to access all the latest data, science, clinical studies, known treatment, etc. So you know this is the hub of the true verified information. So when you share something from our group, or you share something from our website, especially for the admin people, you know it's the right information. Because again, assault is multidimensional. They purposely creating articles to discredit the movement too. So please, if you want to share something from the websites, do due diligence. You have to read the article. You read the title, you read the article, they don't even match. and then they put some information that's not true. You have to be mindful of that because they use it any way they can to discredit us. Personal attacks on Chris, myself, a bunch of other people, discredit the movement, discredit the information that they say, share. Don't worry, we are pushing so hard. You know why? Because we're making change. And the outreach teams is the second initiative that we're pushing so hard, guys, with what we're doing. We're connecting people all across this country to have small outreach teams. So then you, in your own community, can take the initiative and go to the business person and tell them, I see a sign on a window in front of the business that talks about this bylaw, but I see the exemption is missing there. Did you know you're supposed to put exemptions in there? Did you know that people are exempt from this bylaw for many different reasons? Can you please adjust it? And by the way, we have a sign already ready for you. So if the government is not going to do the work, we're going to do the work. We're going to go educate the people. We're going to educate the business owners. Because at this point, please understand, those people are scared. They've been shut down for the last 3-4 months. They have no money left. So when the government tells them, in Quebec, it's crazy. The health minister says there's going to be responsibility of the person opening the door, be fined, get the fine for the person not wearing a mask in their place. It's ridiculous. It's extortion on the government level. So please be mindful. We need to educate the people, and that's what I'm saying. That's what we're pushing with outreach teams and Truth Education Platform. If you're not part of the movement, please join. I'd love you. Now, to wrap it up, what I want to say about the fear, choose love over fear. Every single moment, we have to make a choice. And that's what I'm trying to say, that we have to choose love over everything. In our interactions with people, please understand people are fearful, they've been brainwashed and hypnotic, but it actually gives us an opportunity. Because guess what happens when you're in a hypnotic state? You can drop something into that state, and actually you will change the person's perspective. So, you know, the last thing I'm going to say, I want to thank the media again for blasting the card. I'm going to let Chris talk about it more, but I personally created a press release behind, on part of our nation, Hugs and Max Nation, thanking the media, giving us the opportunity to educate the public that you actually can get away without wearing a mask. So thank you, media, again. All right. If you want to talk more, if you want to hear about it, we have shirts today, we have flyers. We have 30,000 flyers printed up. The cards that we've been distributing and the flyers that we've been distributing, we have 30,000 to supply the whole Ontario. We have March happening here today. There's March happening in Hamilton with this festival as well, and that's what we're doing. And they're happening all across the country, coast to coast. So if you don't know what's going on, please come to me. I'll tell you which city and what's going on. Love you all. I'll give you Kelly back. Stay healthy, everybody.